Hello, everybody. Welcome to this info session today. I am this current UW Circle Student Advisory Board co-chair. My name is Rue. I'm a neuroscience student, second year undergrad student. And here with me is the other co-chair, Husna. Do you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. My name is Usna, and I am also a co-chair with Ryu. I'm a second-year Master of Urban Planning programs here, and expecting graduate in this spring's quarter. Thank you, Ryu.
Hey, congrats. Okay, thank you guys so much for participating today. We do have we do treat this info session very seriously. And so we're preparing for our next year's Student Advisory Board representing international students. Okay, so this is going to be our agenda today. So we're going to do a quick check-in with our attendees, and then we're going to introduce Circle Office, and then we're gonna talk shortly about SAB's history, and then as chair and members, they're gonna share I'm gonna talk about the roles, including the GPSS and ASUW liaison positions. And then we're going to talk about recruitment and how to apply. And then also we're having a panel with members. So members will share their experience serving on board, including our chair, our members, and then our ASUW liaison. And then we'll have a quick Q&A session and then closing. So hopefully this will go well. So check in, we don't have that much of attendees today. I'm wondering if our attendees would want to kind of just do a quick check-in with us and tell us why you're interested in attending the info session. And then you can also just type if you want, or we can move on. So I can probably talk a little bit about why I was interested in joining SAB. So I joined SAB in my freshman year last year as an undergrad, and it was a very fun experience. I learned people from a lot of the places around the world and listened to different perspectives, and I applied to be a chair of this year, and it really gave me more perspectives and experience. I couldn't appreciate this more. Um, and I also got got a lot of mentorship from Dr. Bai, who oversees all of us in the board, which is great. Yeah, I feel like having this kind of thing as a student advisory board or some sort of voice portal for international student alongside with academia is some sort of sanctuary, and it's really mentally relaxing for me. Okay, I think we can move on. So we're gonna basically talk about Circle and what we do and who we are. So Circle, our full name is the Center of International Relations and Cultural Leadership Exchange. We're under the Student Life Division. And the Circle, the Center of International Relations and Cultural Leadership Exchange launched in November in 2019. So it's a hub for international student resources, and we do provide a very holistic approach to engage, support, and advocate for international students, as is pretty much very clear at this moment, I feel like. And then our student advisory board in specific is a very diverse team, international and domestic student, working directly with the Circle team to improve the international student experience at UW. So we're international students bridge between student voices and the impactful campus change. So ISS, the International Student Services, is another office, but we support international students in different ways, which is both important. So this is our Circle team. We have Dr. Drew. She's the executive director, and we have Dr. Bai. Zien, she is the assistant director of Circle, and she also oversees the whole student advisory board at Circle. And then we also have David, who's in charge of Unite UW, which I know everyone knows on campus. It's a great program. And Circle's vision. So basically, we're a home away from home, a portal to the world. Circle is the UW's primary portal to resources, community, and activities that help international and domestic students to maximize their Husky experience together. So for international student, we get to learn more about like American culture and meet a lot of American people as well as other parts of the world that's not like your home country, right? And then for American domestic students, we also provide perspectives from other parts of the world. This kind of collaboration in perspective really make things great. And then these are some other circle programs I'm pretty sure that you've heard of. So we have the International Welcome Program, Welcome Day, and then we have Circle of Friends, which is for undergraduate students, but it is very, how to say that, like collaborative, and they have a lot of fun events. And then we also have Circle Fast Track, which is discussion sessions, and also we have Unite UW, which is completely um, like a ton of fun and full of engagement between international and domestic student, like a cultural exchange session. I have a lot of friends who met like each other through Unite UW and they're like friends for 4 years and friend for life. I know they're gonna be, but it was a pretty fun experience. And feel free to like search up Circle's website and learn more about us. We have various and tons of programs besides SAB, although we today are focusing on SAB, of course. But okay, so Zian, do you want to add anything to what I just said about our perspective and etc.?
Oh, you mentioned great as you mentioned that today's highlight is for SAB, and then I don't want to take too much time away from that. But in addition to some of the programs you highlight, Circle really focus on holistic support. So there are so many more that are not necessarily under the umbrella of those categories of programs. We also have a lot of programs just for graduate students. We also have large cultural celebrations. We also have special programming for students from different regions of the world. Just want to add that. You can move on.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, we have also a lot of events. And then as Circle SAB member, you're like basically you can participate and help and support in all of them. You can get exposed to different culture, which is a ton of fun, obviously. Okay, so let's move on to the SAB expectations. So I'm going to briefly talk about SAB formation and our history and what leads to us today. So SAB was founded in 2020 to 2021. So it was solely just undergraduate student. We knew that we need some sort of some international voice portal and some international cultural representation on campus. But we were still figuring out ways to kind of like contribute and finding our ways to build impact on campus. So we're still like identifying mission and visions. And then moving on to SAB development. So in 2021 to 2022, we added graduate students, which was Cian's kind of like what she's doing. She's director of graduate student programs. And then in 2022 to 23, we bylot and connect with GPSS, and 24 to 25, we connected with ASUW. So GPSS and ASUW are two student lead congress, kind of student congress like, and they are kind of like, so us having international voices in these kind of student governments are extremely important so that our voice and our needs are heard. Since UW is such a big school, right? And then we also had collaborations with Husky Health Center. And then we kind of expand SAB's networks through advocacy and connections with different offices on campus. And then we also inform a lot of like Circle programs and initiatives supporting different programs under Circle office. And the SAB today, so we currently have 20 members, 6 master students, we're beyond, and 14 undergrad students. So we're coming from 11 countries and different parts of the world. We're building connection with the broader international student community, including Husky Health Center. And we focus projects for members to elevate international student experience and our culture exposure and etc. So we've done a lot throughout the days. So these were kind of our past 3 boards. The middle one is our current class, so it's 24 to 25. And then we also had the board of 23 to 24. And then we had the board of 21 to 22, which you can see that everyone's wearing masks. So it was like under COVID period. So passing on to Husna to kind of discussing about SAB member and projects.
Okay, thank you so much, Rue. So as mentioned by Rue before in a prior slide, so we kind of like focus in diversity and inclusions as well on SAB. So as you can see before, like we are currently have like 20 members representing more than 10 countries around the world. And although in a prior slide, it was mentioned that we only have like 6 graduate and undergraduate students, currently we kind of like have almost balanced numbers of graduate and undergraduate students, which we kind of like very grateful for, because we need both voices from graduate and undergraduate students. As for member engagement, it was kind of like give you on offers kind of like understanding about like what will you do possibly if you're kind of like in the future will be a members of our SAB. We kind of like have several projects across different years, but in our class here today, we have like 4 focus projects, which is an SAB Voice funding projects and recruitment, and also a Liaison, which is kind of like representative for our ASUW, GPSS, and also Husky Health. So what is SAB Voice was kind of like doing was kind of like, we have a lot of discussions when we had our weekly meetings. So we want to make sure that what we discuss is being known by broader international students at UW. So that's what we kind of like develop our blogs, making sure that they know what we are kind of like focusing, what are we doing, and what projects are we focused on this year. And then funding project was kind of like the different way for us to kind of like contributing to elevate international student experience in UW. So we kind of like, after our discussion, we kind of like focus on our solutions, like what should we bring, what should we help international students. Sometimes it's going through funding project, looking into like the projects that can elevate, and then also sometimes it's going through the Liaison, so they can kind of like making legislations that will elevate international student experience. And recruitment was kind of like this whole things that have been happening for this spring quarter, which kind of like ensure SAB leadership continuations in the upcoming year for international students. And as I mentioned earlier, weekly discussion leader was kind of like every member participated in the discussions. Sometimes they brought up some kind of like discussion topic that they heard from, you know, like day to day of being a student. And we kind of like together, kind of like come together discussing about what should we do as a student advisory board and what can we bring. That was basically, yeah.
Thank
Next slide.
Thank you, Husna. Yeah, we have weekly discussions, which was like very fun, and everyone kind of like brought up very interesting topics. We talk about like careers for international student, and then like student life, and also campus studying, etc. Okay, moving on to SAB chair and members role. That's probably what everyone's kind of here for. Kind of like understanding what each role kind of do and the responsibilities. So SAB chair role, basically you will need to spend around 5 to 10 hours per week. So you oversee day-to-day logistics of the SAB life. So you're kind of like overseeing all the members and the logistics for the SAB. So it manages member engagement, meeting agendas, retreats, and also special projects. We do have like 1 retreat per quarter, so which is member getting outside of class to kind of like chill together, to bond, and chair needs to oversee that as well. So serves as the spokesperson and representative to external events, kind of like info session, you know, and sometimes there is International Student Day or from other offices such as the administration and other office, and you can definitely speak there as well to kind of share your experience as an international student. We're a student advisory board chair to a lot of different events. So basically you're like representing your SAB, and organizes SAB events and invite campus community representatives, and also represents some circle other boards and committees So this role can also be shared with other different roles that we've kind of discussed, and we'll also discuss it on later slides. So ASUW liaison roles, sorry, forgot to add the GPSS as well. But we have two basically Senate roles. So one is with GPSS and one is with ASUW, the two student government that I was mentioning earlier in the introduction slides. So you would need to attend GPSS or ASUW Senate meeting, which is around 2 hours per week. It varies because so this one, I think it's specifically for ASUW, but we'll keep going. I think we have another slide for GPSS. Weekly meetings with the Circle Assistant Director, which is Zion, for around half an hour per week, I think. And you will need to participate in optional ASUW committee work relevant to international student advocacy, which will be pretty free. So around 1 to 2 hours per 2 weeks. And then you are going to be a voice portal for the larger campus community. So you're basically delivering whatever discussed in the SAB weekly meetings to the student congress, which is very fun, I think. Jude will talk more about it. But yeah, this one will be for GPSS, which is for a graduate student. So you will be serving as the GPSS senator representing Circle. So you'll attend GPSS meeting, which is per month, but it's a bit longer than ASUW, which is 3 to 4 hours per month. It's usually happening Wednesday night, I'm pretty sure. And then weekly meetings with the Circle assistant director, which is Zian again. And you will need to participate in optional GPSS committee work relevant to international graduate student advocacy, which is kind of similar to the ASUW role. Is 1 to 2 hours per 2 weeks, so the other week. And then SAB members, which will usually take 2 to 3 hours per week. Our members are going to share more experience about it. So we're having our weekly meeting, and then as you guys have all heard what Husna was saying, and then we're having quarterly training session, which is usually called our annual quarter meeting. So Zian will kind of like do some sort of like leadership training, or we're gonna figure out some topics to deliver and expand on, which is going to be 3 hours per quarter. And we do provide food, and I basically joined Circle for the snack and the good food. So, which is kind of irrelevant, but it matters so much. But anyways, so we also need to participate in at least one existing Circle SAB project, as what Husna was saying. So we have a list of projects, including recruitment, right? And so you'll be basically participating in at least one of these existing projects. Okay, so moving on to our best part, I guess. I know everyone's been waiting for that, myself as well. So I will basically kind of ask members about their experience, and they're going to give me their answers. It's kind of like a panel. So we'll start with Husna, which is my partner, my other co-chair of the board. Would you like to share a little bit about your experience as the current SAB chair? What's it like for you?
So thank you so much, Ru. I think one thing that I want to share was kind of like beyond the extensive leadership experience that I've kind of like gained throughout the Circle SAB, my Circle SAB time. It's just like SAB have been helped me better to understand my identity as an international student. So it was kind of like a very brief background why I joined like Circle SAB. It was kind of like I joined Circle SAB in my second year of my master's degree, and my department, which is a College of Built Environment Urban Planning, does not really have a lot of international students. We only have like 5 of them, and we're not really that active, like, like international student organizations active. So at my first year, I was kind of like a bit of limbos. I was like, I don't know how to represent myself as an international student, because I was kind of like very exposed to, being in situations where a lot of like domestic American students there, which is not as bad. I mean, like all things have been going fine, but it was just like crisis identity at first. So being in a circle was kind of like really grounded myself as an international student, which is like I have the community at first, and then I have a vision, I have something that I can work on, basically, which is like, what can I contribute to international students, to the community of international students? Because international have a very unique needs and also interests and also other unique perspective that I want to kind of like people to understand and people to learn a lot about like being international student itself. So as being like a SAB leadership as co-chair, we really have been very engaging, I want to say, because we kind of like lead the SAB being more focused into the solutions. And we know international students have been a very difficult time being in a United States, and we don't want to focus ourselves into like, what is it called? Like commenting or just like not knowing where to go. But every discussion that we had, we always focus on like, what can we bring? What can we do as a student board? And I think that was more important because when you don't have the community, it was kind of like very hard to even understand what can you do as an international student, because you basically do not have that huge support. And being in a circle as SAB supported by Circle and also ZN, most importantly, it was kind of like give you kind of like a power that you can navigate into being an international student at the UW. So I think that was very important. And also for me, which is like networking opportunity was always there. Being in a student advisory board means that you can reach out to people that are sometimes is a very different from your study focus. Like, so for me, I'm an urban planning, so there's no way that I'm gonna reach out to people that are, maybe like engineering or something. So we being in an international student leadership opportunity, I was kind of like have the opportunity to kind of like reach out to them because we had the projects that kind of like cover a lot of like interests and also needs. So there's always a networking opportunity, and that was kind of like give you a lot of like exposure to a lot of other people. So yeah, that was mine. How about you, Ruth?
Oh, thank
Do you
you.
want to share some?
Sharing. I feel like it's kind of like what Husna was saying. I feel like it's a way to step out of your comfort zone and meet more people. Like through Circle SAB, I feel like I actually met a lot of friends from a lot of parts of the world that I was not familiar with. And everyone is with such a diverse background on the board that actually encouraged me to like kind of go to their country and learn more about their background. And I feel like these kind of friendship in college and beyond is hard to find again. Yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna share. But rest of the time, we're gonna kind of spotlight on our members and their experience. Okay, so let's start with maybe our ASUW liaison for this year, Jude. Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and then answer the questions? I can also ask you if we want to make it like a panel.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. My name's Jude, and I'm the ASUW Senate Liaison. I guess I'll answer the questions. How has this connection with all student governments enriched your leadership experience as an international student? I think it really expanded my understanding of what leadership can look like. It's a very particular space that I'm not used to leading in. Like, as a student, you get to lead group projects and whatnot, but this is a very special way of leadership. It helped me realize that international students do indeed have a voice in student government, even if that voice isn't always the loudest. Being involved gave me the chance to bring that perspective into conversations where it's often missing, and international students go through through unique challenges while studying abroad, whether it's academic, personal. It's a lot of adjustments that are happening all at once in the most pivotal moment of your life. So having someone at the table who understands that experience is really important. And I'm happy that Circle gives the opportunity for students to be involved in something like ASUW, which I realized that I have not defined what it is. ASUW is the Associated Students of the University of Washington, which is basically the student government of the university. Following up on that, what I would suggest for the upcoming liaison or anyone interested in the position, I think you should go for it. I mean, it's a very fun, unique experience that you'll only get to experience once. The ASUW Student Senate is such a powerful space. It opens your eyes to a lot of issues that students face, some of which you can actually help change with your voice and your vote. What makes ASUW even more special is that it's connected to the Washington State Senate, which is very awesome. So every year, students get to go to Olympia and present legislations that could make a real difference at the state level, which is awesome. I think experience makes you learn a lot more about policies, politics, and possibilities here on campus and beyond. So although this position seems like it's very policy forward, you don't really have to be in that realm within your major. A lot of students are in STEM or other fields that join ASUW. So this opportunity helps navigate that realm, which you can't get from your education itself. So yeah, I really enjoy this position, and I'm happy to clarify anything if anyone is interested in the position. It's a really fun time for sure.
Thank you, Jude. Yeah, I kind of feel the same, although I've never been a liaison on a board. But so Selby, do you want to like kind of share a little bit about GPS's experience?
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Hi. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Great. Sorry. Yeah, I am Selby. I am the current GPSS liaison, and I was just listening to Jude and
You want to talk a little bit about yourself before?
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I am a graduate student. I am doing a master's degree in educational policy and leadership. I am from Turkmenistan, and I joined the SAB board and as a GPSS liaison, I think in winter, right? I kind of lost track of time. Anyway, so yeah, I was listening to Jude and I find a lot of things that she mentioned relatable. I can also add that when you are in the student government, you see all of these issues that are happening, which you may not be aware of. So when I first came here, like everything seemed like it was taken care of, and it felt like there were maybe no problems except the cost of living. And I was like, oh, okay, so everything seems fine. But then as my studies continued, I started noticing problems around me, and the student government kind of gave me a voice and um, a chance to articulate those issues and find solutions. So I think one of you guys mentioned that it's a very like in general the SAB environment is very solution oriented. I can say the same thing about GPSS as well. The challenges that I had and like my suggestions maybe are gonna be connected to those challenges. The student government itself, I'm not sure about ASUW, but GPSS is very formal. Like at first, it feels very intimidating because it follows the kind of formal parliamentary procedure. And I, so this is my first year in the United States, and I like this the student government and how it runs and how it functions. Those things I was not very familiar with those things. So it took me some time to get used to the formality of it, but then I think with time I kind of got used to it, and I kind of started to, you know, um, I familiarize myself with all the procedures. So it might seem formal, it might seem intimidating, but it's not. Like if you get courage to speak up, your opinion will be valued. Another suggestion I have is, I think like one of the things that I learned was just to manage things. I mean, to stay organized, manage documents, emails, and so on. So yeah, if you're interested in this role, then that's one of the things that you're going to be doing. In general, like you should be familiar with calendar and keeping track of all the emails and like record keeping and stuff like that. So general organizational skills, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Selby. Thank you. And I really enjoy Selby's like weekly report from GPSS. It's always very like, I don't know, organized, and she always shared all the events from GPSs and people could go to.
Thank
Um,
you.
Yeah. And now we'll move on to the most important part, I guess, members. So basically, I think we'll all start with Zoe, if you don't mind.
Okay.
We can pass it down, basically.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I'm a senior informatics student, major on the data science track. Also, I'm doing a minor in music. I'm also an international student, originally from China. And I joined the Circle SAB because I really wanted to help create a space where international students could feel seen and heard. So coming to UW, I remember like feeling overwhelmed at first, and then I realized that a lot of students around me had similar experiences, but they didn't always have the chance to speak up. So I saw SAB as a way to bring those voices to the table and work with others to improve things for our community. And how does this experience shape my UW experience as international student? It definitely made me feel more empowered. So instead of just adapting to campus life, I feel like I was actively helping improve it for others too. So I learned so much by being in space where international students could share concerns, offer solutions, and support each other. And I think I strengthened my communication skills, especially learning how to express idea clearly in group settings and bring in different perspectives respectfully. And it's helping me grow as like both a leader and a listener. And the next question, how has SAB helped me feel connected to the international community? So through SAB, I've met people from like so many different cultures and backgrounds, and those connections I have met is like it have meant so much to me. So we share stories and celebrated our identities, and we also supported each other during tough times. So it's really helped me feel less alone and more proud of where I come from. And it's comforting to know that there's a whole group of people who just get it. And I encourage everyone should apply for SAB because your voice matters than you think. SAB is a great place to speak up and make friends and actually seeing your ideas turning into action. So it's not just about the leadership role, it's also a way to make real impact while building community. So that's my experience so far. I hope you guys can apply it, and see you next year.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and I feel the same. I feel like it's like a lot of people has been serving on the board for over 1 year, and a lot of us are graduating, so we do need new blood to make it kind of like running. So we'll like pass it to Damini if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. My name is Damini, and I'm a first year's master's student here at UW. I'm doing my master's in human-centered design and engineering, and I have a background in information technology. And yeah, so I was studying and working in India before this, so I'm an international student as well. And I joined Circle SAB because so I have always been interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and I have been trying to be a part of those in any organization that I join. So even in my undergrad and after that, at my workplace as well, I have tried to always join some kind of a club or an organization which represents the voice of the people who are working there, or of the students. So this closely related to that. And yeah, and I know that being an international student in a new country is very daunting, and you have these challenges which make you feel like you're very alone, but in reality there are so many more other students who are feeling the exact same, right? So I think just having that community and knowing that, okay, I'm not alone, and everyone else is also feeling the same way, so just having that gives you some comfort. So yeah, that's why I joined the Circle SAB. And yeah, I think it has definitely shaped my experience in a positive way because of the community that we've had, and even the weekly discussions that we've had. Because you're very stressed throughout the week, right? You're just doing your assignments and everything. So these weekly check-ins and, just sharing something about your, day or your week or where you've been, it's just a nice way to bond and just, de-stress for a couple of minutes. So I think that really worked well. And I think one important thing that I learned from being on the board is just how much I don't know about what's going on in the university, and like getting more information about it, and like how sort of GPSS and ASUW, like everyone is doing so many things and contributing in so many ways. So I was really not aware of these different boards that are here to serve and help international students. So I think just knowing, having that, access to that knowledge of there are so many ways to get help, and, all these resources that are there for you. I think, yeah, that's just something that I've definitely gained from, being here. And yeah, it's really interesting to meet other international students who are on the board, and also like I'm hoping to meet more of you as you sign up to be members. But yeah, it's been really interesting, like seeing how their lived experiences influence like how their decision making and everything. So it's just nice to see different perspectives on issues. And yeah, I think this is, if you're planning to join, it would definitely be really interesting thing to do, and you'll get to learn a lot. And there's definitely a lot of mentorship as well, and there's like this sense of community, and everyone's always cheering for you. So I think that's really nice, sweet. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Damini is one of the I'm just saying this too much, but she got one of the Husky at 100 for this year. Yeah. Circle SAB do have a lot of like member highlight moments where we write articles about you, your story, and your personal experience. And yeah, so we really appreciate that. So I will pass it to Shah, if that's okay with you, to share a little bit about your experience. Shah has been like what, you've been like a 2 year and one NAB member with Circle.
Yeah, well, quite a while. Give me a
Okay.
Great, thank you. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can all hear you.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone, my name is Shah. I'm a senior. I'm a public health, global health major. I minor in public policy and linguistics. I honestly joined Circle because I've always been really involved in like student government. I'm helping international students kind of get their voices heard. I've done a lot of like legislative work. When I was in community college, I transferred from community college to UW. So I spent the community college I went to is very international student heavy. So it was nice to be able to I guess translate that work I was doing in community college to UW. But I wanted to find a way where I could really explore a bigger quote unquote playing field. And I think we it's like we as a group at Circle has allowed me to do that. And I've always really enjoyed going into spaces and questioning why there's no international students there. I when I was in community college, there wasn't essentially any international student doing legislative work at the level I was doing it at. So it was really nice to be able to go into that setting, talk to legislators, talk to state senators. I was able to meet Joe Biden, Kamala Harris when they came to my community college, just being able to talk to them and have them question why there isn't more international students doing what I do was something that was a total eye-opener for them and for myself. And I was fighting for something more than just myself, I would say. I think I was fighting for the community college students, but I wasn't benefiting from any of this. It was more benefiting of the people around me, and that kind of opened my eyes out to a lot of things, globally as well. And I think for the third question, how does this experience shape your experience? I think as a student at UW, I was fully kind of expecting to be super isolated because I was a transfer student. I was like, I'm just gonna come in, do my work, and go and get out of here. But I think Circle has allowed me to like put myself in situations where I can challenge a lot of the organizations I'm in. Like I'm in Greek life system, so I'm the president for my fraternity, and being in that setting, and being the first essentially president ever in the Greek setting to be from as an international student, was a good way to question the Greek system and be like, hey, why do you not have any more international students? And have them thinking about why, or going to legislators and talking about like domestic violence, not just in a domestic setting, but as an international student setting, how like legally how to help international students housing wise, like even like dorms, food options, so on and so forth. That's always been something that I liked, and I think UW and SAB, like Circle SAB has allowed me to do that, and help put international students into the minds of people's heads in organizations around campus. And I think a skill that I definitely learned coming into, or not, sorry, from being in Circle is essentially putting the questions that some of the students are asking, that we all talk about every time we meet. We're like, hey, I met this student and this student has said this and they're questioning this, and taking that questions and going to the organizations I'm in and asking them those questions and not being afraid of what I'm getting, or the information I'm getting from them, and kind of pestering them to think about things and expand the horizon a little bit. I think that resilience has shined through, and Circle has allowed me to do that, which is nice. And I think, like I said previously, with SAB helping me feel connected with international students, it's allowed me to be kind of that supporting beam for a lot of international students. Like now we have quite a bit of international students interested in Greek life, for example, and having them come to me and be like, hey, how does this make sense? Like, can you explain this to me? Can you let me know if this is okay and this is not okay? I think that has kind of opened up my eyes a little bit more to a community that I thought I wasn't going to be a part of, because I spent a lot of time like working with kind of people who are from America, a lot of domestic, like people from Washington, out of state. So it's nice to be able to feel connected through that way with international students at UW. And I think if there's one thing I would like to share with following students about thinking about joining SAB is, when you're in SAB, you need to question a lot of things. Meaning, if you are a part of an advisory board or for a different thing, like I'm part of the HFS advisory board, question why there isn't more international students. Question how international students could be a huge plus for them. Like, think about ways that you can get the voices of international students heard as loud as possible. And think of ways to push international students into the spots so that their voices can be heard. Right now, we are in a very difficult time, and voicing your opinions can be something that's very risky or uncomfortable for some people, but this is the best time to kind of step out of your shell and ask questions and get people to hear the voices from us and our perspective. There's a lot of people that care about us, like the people who are not international students in UW that care about us. And I think it's a good position. It's a good time for us to step up at InCircle and have you think about ways we can have our voices heard a little bit more.
Thank you so much, Sha. Like, you always have so much, like, thoughts. And Sha has achieved so much at UW as well, although he's graduating, but he left us tons of good things. Like, I remember he was one of the orientations leaders, and then he has done a lot of like internships around. So definitely like talk to him, reach out and ask questions. He has a lot of great mindsets that we all can benefit from. All right, so moving on to recruitment process. So basically, we've got a bunch of recruitment that we're still like processing through. So the priority deadline will be May 11th for this year. And then the positions opening will be co-chairs. So we'll be recruiting 2 co-chair positions, one for undergrad student and one for graduate student. And then we're also having 10 opening voluntary positions. And then we have 1 open position for ASUW Liaison, which is what Jude does. And we have 1 open position for GPSs, which is what Selby's doing. So basically, you can scan this QR code on my list. And we also have shared this on the Circle Instagram and other platforms that you will be accessible to. And then you can also search up online to our webpage to apply for specific positions. And there's also the link to the Google form that we're taking the application. So the priority deadline for all these positions will be May 11th, 2025.